So hi, we just saw Jumanji. Welcome to the jungle! I don't know any more lyrics to the song.
I want to see you bleed!
Yeah, that. Anyway.
By Guns N' Roses.
Which, this movie actually showed a little bit of. It was actually surprisingly violent for a PG movie.
Yeah. It was very fun!
Yeah,
I guess we have to ask the question, do we need an update of the Robin Williams movie about the board game?
Well, I liked how they handled it.
Yeah.
Basically, the movie starts where, kind of where the last one ended off, where some guy discovers the board game buried in the sand on a beach and takes it home and says, "Hey son, look at this thing I found for no reason. I picked up off the beach. I have no idea where it's been or what it even is, but I found it and it looks cool."
Here you go, son.
And the son's like, "Board games? Those are lame because this is the 90s now."
Yeah. 1996, so Jumanji warps itself into a video game.
I like how they handled it too. It's like, it heavily implied that it's self-aware and that it heard him say board games are so lame and then go play a video game. It's like, time for an update.
I wish I could include a reference to Reboot, but none come to mind.
No one knows for sure, but I intend to find out. Reboot!
Incoming game.
Warning, incoming game. Warning, incoming game.
You are a winner.
Game over. User wins. Anyway, let's more about the movie. So yeah, this kid gets sucked into the game. Big surprise. That's kind of what happens in Jumanji.
Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to apparently 2016.
Yeah.
Where it stars our four main characters as four differently awkward high school kids.
Yeah, you've got two nerds, a jock, and a diva.
Yeah. Spencer, Fridge.
The guy's name is literally Fridge.
Well, it's better than his in-game avatar's name.
Mouse something?
Something Mouse.
Yeah.
Or he thought it was Moose. Nope. And Meredith. So they all get detention, the classic high school trope.
Yeah.
Because Bethany makes a phone call in the middle of class, which is a no-no.
Yeah.
Spencer gets caught writing Fridge's homework for him.
Yeah. And then Martha's reason for detention is something I did all the damn time in school, right from middle school all the way through high school. Well, high school I didn't even take gym, but yeah, basically she refused to participate in gym. It's like, that was totally me in school. In middle school, every day for gym, I just sort of pace around in the equipment room.
Yeah,
but they let me because they knew whenever I participated in gym, somebody got hurt. So it was for safety reasons.
Yeah. You kind of suck.
I do, at gym at least.
And being coordinated.
Yeah, that kind of literally hand in hand. Anyway, back to the movie. So yeah, they all get sent to detention. They have to de-staple a bunch of old magazines, but then they discover the old video game that's just sitting there for some reason.
Yeah, because the family probably got rid of it when their son disappeared.
Yeah.
Who would want to keep that around?
They probably didn't know that was the cause of it, though. How would they know?
No, they got rid of they probably got rid of most of their son's stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
So they just, because he disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Their house was amazingly decrepit for anyone still to be living in it.
I don't think there was. Oh,
then why is that old man still there?
Oh yeah, he was the character's dad.
Yeah, so why was he still living in a house that decrepit? Why didn't he move?
Because he was so depressed that his son disappeared that he wanted to wait for him.
But the house was still so incredibly decrepit, like...
Imagery!
I know, but...
Imagery for the final scene of the movie.
I know, but it was a little too overdone. Again, I'm nitpicking, but...
But then they end up getting transported into Jumanji as well. where Spencer turns into the Rock. Before he got a giant buffalo tattoo on his arm. He changed that. He got the Brahma bull tattooed over into a giant skull of a bull or something like that. And then they're all their avatars are basically the complete opposite of themselves. Spencer's awkward. The Rock is
The Rock. The Rock is The Rock. No description required.
Was it Smolder? Oh, it was Smolder.
Smolder Bravestone.
Yes, and everything you do was smoldering. Fridge ended up turning into Kevin Hart, who's short.
Well, yeah.
Hence the mouse.
Yeah.
He did not like the. Oh, mouse. Right. Yeah, man.
You want to play some Pokemon?
Bethany got turned into Jack Black.
Yeah, which is even worse.
Which is the point.
I know.
It's to teach her a lesson because she's a pretty girl, get turned into a middle-aged fat guy. So us when we're a little bit older.
Yeah.
Although I don't intend to be fat forever.
Well, then just cut out the sugar.
Just shut up. And Meredith got turned into Ruby Roundhouse.
I thought her name was Martha.
What did I say?
Meredith.
It probably was Martha.
Martha!
You know where that? Yeah, she got turned into a martial arts master wearing a two-piece.
Yeah,
because she was
played by someone who was on Doctor Who.
Because her character was completely the opposite of very socially awkward and.
Yeah. That actress is in a lot of stuff now. She started off in Doctor Who as one of Matt Smith Doctor's companions, and then she ended up being in Guardians of the Galaxy as Nebula, and now this, and yeah, she's in a. Oh, and she ended up being Jean Grey in X-Men Apocalypse. So.
Oh right. And the next one, the Rise of the Dark Phoenix, or whatever they're calling it.
Didn't know that was gonna be the next one. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to this movie.
Something Dark Phoenix.
Based
off the Phoenix.
Something dark side. Something.
Based off the Phoenix Saga, which the original X-Men continuity did.
They're trying to make it X-Men Last Stand, but done right.
Maybe. Which one was the one where Jean Grey goes all insane and...
That would be X-Men Last Stand.
Okay, then probably with the current timeline, they're probably doing that. But that's neither here nor there. God damn it.
we're easily distracted.
But then they start playing the game. The Rock is the most broken video game character you've ever seen. His weaknesses are literally none.
Except jaguars and getting thrown off a cliff.
That's not exactly a weakness. That's something anyone would die to.
Well, some of their weaknesses were something anyone would die to too, like Venom.
Yeah. And cake. Kevin Hart's weak.
He explodes when he eats cake.
Mr. Mouse, I can't remember his first name.
Yeah.
Yeah, they each have their specific traits.
Backpack guy.
Yes. He's a zoologist and a weapons valet, which is another term pulled right out of wrestling.
Or just, if you want to go Pokemon terms, HM slave.
Wrestling would commonly use the word valet to describe a woman who accompanies a man to the ring as his valet.
Well, there are worse things to be called.
Yeah, AKA girlfriend. But,
yeah.
And then Bethany, I don't even remember Jack Black's character's name. I know he's a doctor or something. But...
Sheldon something.
Oh yeah, Sheldon. Shelley. I assume she only picked him because Shelley sounded like a girl. Oh, something curve, cause I remember the character had something to do with curvy, and she thought it fit her.
Yeah.
Chalet.
But
He's a paleontologist, archaeologist,
and dick jokes.
And dick jokes, but also good with maps.
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. Map.
And why do I keep thinking Meredith? I don't know.
Martha.
Martha. I am a man.
Ow! You actually hit me in the teeth.
I wasn't watching where I was punching. I was just looking straight forward. I was just going. But yeah, her skills are all kinds of martial arts and dance fighting.
Yes.
Which is a martial art.
And her only weakness is venom.
It's like, no, that's not going to play into the end at all. But then we start playing the game, and they constantly interact with NPCs who just repeat the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Like any video game.
Yes. It's a very enjoyable video game movie, especially even when people complain that you wouldn't respawn when your character dies with all your...
Even though it's not actually based on a video game.
No. They created their own rules, so suck it, internet marks.
So...
But then we eventually meet the bad guy, who has an issue with one of his eyes.
And he has scorpions and bugs coming out of him.
Yeah, he stole the MacGuffin, and it gave him power to control all the animals in Jumanji.
Yeah, so now he's like has bugs coming out of him and stuff.
And basically the tour guide stole the gem and gave it to Smoldering Bravestone.
Uh-huh.
So they have to return the gem to where it was to lift the curse that is Jumanji and return to 2016.
Uh-huh.
So but nobody wants to return to 2016.
Yeah.
You must go back in time, back to the future, Marty.
Da 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 da. Wrong movie.
But as they're playing the game, they come across Nick Jonas. His name is obviously something pilot.
I can't even remember.
Captain something.
But that was like halfway through the movie. They like one of them gets. Before that, one of them gets eaten by a hippo. She thought like it was a rhino, and then.
But hippos are vegetarian. They don't eat people.
Yeah, but again, it was more of a zombie, mind-controlled hippo.
Yeah, okay, I can believe it.
Only they had zombie sharks. Just like in Pirates. Anyway, we were easily distracted.
Yes. But they go through the levels.
Yeah, where they're chased by the bad guys on motorcycles. They go to the very bizarre bazaar.
Yes.
Where there's
which I believe was the title of one of your Let's Play videos.
Yes.
Plug.
Plug. Anyway, and then there was they
there's-
had to get this item that was in a basket with a snake in
It's a
it.
piece of a map.
Yeah.
But
it turned out to not to be a piece of the map.
It led them to the piece of the map.
But yeah, then Kevin Hart's character gets to defang a snake. So
yeah. Rip his fang. There's a lot of character development. There's a lot of interaction between the two different groups of them. Like they basically split in half, the two guys and the two girls, and there's you could say that it was a bit slower paced, but you also kind of need that to ramp up the tension for the fast paced things. Like if it's just constantly fast paced, it gets a bit tiresome.
Yeah. But yeah, it turns out that the fifth player was the guy from 1996.
Who's been stuck in there for 20 years.
Yeah, to him it was only a few months.
Yeah,
Time moves slower in the game.
And there's no clocks to say what time it is or what year
No, but
it
he
is.
still looked young, so...
Because that was the avatar he picked. The avatar didn't age, I guess.
But well, I mean, I think you would have noticed if time was at regular pace, like 20 years as opposed to a few months.
Well, I imagine time doesn't move when video games are turned off. or moves a lot slower because nobody's playing the game. So. Yeah, but he's a pilot, and story is he's only got one life left because when you enter Jumanji, you only have 3 lives. Which, considering the amount of things that are trying to kill you, seems like not enough lives. What?
Video game character, I don't know.
But they have to get to a weapons depot to get a plane. They have to get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper!
But we have a whole really slow scene where Bethany teaches Martha.
Martha!
Next time I'm going to punch harder. How to flirt with NPCs that are standing guard.
Uh-huh. And she just turns out kicking their ass.
Yes. Because her skill is dance fighting. And a radio turns on randomly.
Yeah.
Even though no one touched it. But then they have to get the gem, fly over a chasm. The helicopter,
gets damaged, and Smolder Braystone has to fix it while it's still flying.
And then
they're being chased by rhinos, actual rhinos, killer rhinos.
Mr. Mouse drops the gem. They have to go back for it. Smolder throws him out of the helicopter to be the suicide.
To be the bait.
Yeah. And then they have a long, boring chase not exactly boring, but slightly interesting chase up to where the Jaguar statue is. Put the gem back. Smolder Braystone Spencer gets scared by a squirrel. Squirrel!
Whoa!
And then gets killed by a panther.
Jaguar.
We had a romantic between the
Martha.
No, between the Alex,
oh, right.
the guy from 1996, and Bethany.
Also between Martha and Spencer, a.k.a. Smolder Braystone.
Yes, which was really cool.
Yeah.
It's just hilariously how awkward they were. Like, neither of them have kissed, so they go to kiss. I was like, like he just turned it in his head and go, like he thinks he's kissing her because he closed his eyes. But thankfully, eventually, they get the gem back in there, and they say the magic words to break the curse without anyone dying.
Yeah, and anyone dying permanently.
Yeah, because Bethany gave one of her lives up to save Alex, who got bit by a mosquito, which was his weakness. Which is kind of stupid when you think they're in the jungle with lots of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
But that's why he had those candles.
Citronella.
Just giant, screw you, mosquito. Like, there's just middle fingers to all the mosquitoes around. We're not going to be monetized for this anyway.
Yeah.
And then it goes back, like, they each have to shake hands with the tour guide to send them back to the real world, and they get transported back to 2016, but apparently Alex got transported back to 1996, so it was like he never left.
Yeah.
And then
basically the similar thing happened in the first movie.
Right.
Alan Parrish got sent back to 1960 something.
I didn't even get that reference because he
was the main character in the first movie.
Oh.
He was Robin Williams' character.
Yeah, because where Alex was staying, there was on the wall was Alex Parrish was here.
And again, more continuity. That movie took place like between Alan Parrish got sucked in the game in the 60s, and then in the present was the 90s.
So in this one, the past was the 90s, and the present was 20 years later.
Exactly.
30 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
Right. But then it cuts back to the four of them actually being friends now. and they've each changed for the better. And they go see Alex, and he's actually grown up with a wife and kids, and where you finally get the payoff where their house is now pristinely white.
And apparently it's Christmas for some reason.
Yeah, because they have a what looks like a dead tree.
No, but they're Christmas decorations, which again I think is a reference to the first movie because that one ended and it was Christmas.
Mm. Although I don't think the kids should have been in high school during. I imagine they would have had Christmas break off, but oh well.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Why is there Christmas? There was no indication before that it was supposed to be Christmas.
There was no snow on the ground either.
Well, I mean, if it was in the southern parts of the U.S., there wouldn't be, but still.
All right. But yeah, it ends up breaking Bethany's heart because he's married, although he did name his daughter Bethany after her, so it wasn't a total loss.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Spencer and Martha make out.
Martha!
They make out properly.
So yeah, that was Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. It was pretty good.
Yeah. It didn't feel... It felt paced well. It felt well paced, I guess.
Yeah, except for the parts where the plot ground to a halt for character stuff, like character stuff. Ooh, more action. Character stuff.
Which,
Ooh,
as
more
I said
action.
earlier, is needed.
I know.
Each character had their own arc of them learning and with each other, so to speak.
Yeah.
We everything had a happy ending. Everything went full circle without leaving any big plot holes. Other than the bad guy died at the end, so
Well, he was an NBC bad guy anyway.
Hypothetically, there's no chance of him coming back for a sequel.
Well, he was designed in the game anyway. He was basically an NPC villain. And then they smashed the game at the end.
Yeah, being like, screw you, nobody. Even though the curse is broken, that probably couldn't have sucked people into the game anyway. Somebody probably, if they hadn't smashed it, somebody might have come across the gem again and taken it.
Yeah. Well, again, I think the whole idea with Jumanji is that the game changes depending on who's playing it. In the first movie, it was nothing like this movie. It was like the game in this movie. It was played as a board game, but with each move you make, more things are released from it, and we're terrorizing the town. Killer animals and giant mosquitoes and earthquakes and monsoons and stuff.
This one nothing really affected the outside world.
Exactly.
Other than you wanted the main characters to survive and go home.
The curse of Jumanji is the game itself. It is a cursed game, and it unleashes hell whenever it is played.
A lot of the deaths were sudden and shocking. Like it's just like suddenly the body go friggin' explode with blood everywhere, and get ran over by a rhino. You see him getting trampled. You hear
or eating cake, you into fire.
The panther killing smoldering bravestone. You hear the sound of the panther ripping body parts and eating. And then the funniest part is when they respawn, they fall from the sky. It's like, what are we playing, PUBG? Or something
with that.
I'm sure somebody will get that reference to a video game reference.
I don't.
You were late.
So, is there anything else we have to say?
I don't know. Goodbye and good night.
Bye.
I am a man!